Hi Ghost and welcome back, and I'm starting out today with yet another apology. Sorry I haven't uploaded a proper video in well over a week. Now this is purely not because of my pronastication, this is actually because I've been really busy. I haven't actually had time to do anything, I've been working pretty much constantly, and I just haven't had time to sit down and make a video. Although we could attribute this to a little bit of pronastication. If I'd got my arse in gear and made like 4 or 5 videos in a day off, I would actually have something to upload, but I'm not very good at doing more than one video in a day. It takes me a while to get one of these commentaries out, and by the time I've done one, I'm like, I'm pooped now, cannot be asked to do another one. And I'll sort of say, I'll just do it tomorrow. And then I realised that I haven't actually got time to do it tomorrow, and subsequently we don't have a video to upload. So I will be trying to change that and get a little bit better at doing it, but at the moment I am only doing a video when I sort of see fit to do one. No, that doesn't right. When I have the time when I have the time to do it, I actually sit down and do one. Anyway, moving swiftly on from me apologising and talking absolute baloney, I wanted to get onto today's topic, which is some new operator ideas. In my last video, I did 2 offensive operators, so I wanted to do the flip side of that and do 2 defensive operators. But before I get onto my ideas, someone very kindly left a comment on my last video, which is for a defensive operator, which fits in very nicely with today's theme. Now, Red has asked me to share his operator idea, and I'm also going to give my thoughts and opinions on whether this operator is good, too powerful, and whether it would fit nicely into the game or not. Without any further delays, let's get on to his operator idea. Now, his operator is to be called Jester, and her ability is to augment one of the defensive operator's abilities, making it twice as powerful. Though, as a negative to this, it makes the operator a little bit weaker, probably dropping their armor category by 1 if I can kind of guess what he's trying to say exactly. Now, I really like this idea. It's very novel, it's very unique, and we haven't really ever seen anything like it before, and it would really mix up the game quite a lot. You'd have to pick this operator in very much coordination with your team, because you wouldn't want to augment something that was completely pointless. The idea mainly behind this is to help weaker operators, I feel, to make them a little bit more impactful. Like Castle, at the moment it's very easy to break his barricades, and in some respects it almost gives the offensive team an advantage, whether it's blocking off certain flanking routes they don't have to worry about, or meaning that Fuse just has impunity to use his charges on the windows without you really being able to counter him in any specific way without rushing outside or C4ing and breaking the barricade itself. So in that aspect, I think she's great, making some of the less viable operators a little bit more viable. I think that would be really cool. However, the fact that she makes an operator a little bit weaker by buffing their ability, I think would just put people off too much, and no one would really want to pick her, because however impactful a gadget is, the main thing you're picking an operator for is their guns and their ability to move, and necessarily their armor or their movement speed. So impacting that in any way would make the operator so much weaker. I don't feel that anyone would really want to pick the operator, mainly because of that reason. Though the biggest negative I can foresee with this character is that you're foregoing one of your main operators. Now, the main operators are picked purely for their gadgets, and being able to have to pass up one of them, whether that be Rook Armor, a Valkyrie Camera, a Bandit Charge, a Mute Jammer, or one of these massively impactful gadgets, would just be too much, and I can't see someone wanting to pass that up to make Castle twice as powerful, or Capcan move a bit faster and deploy twice as many traps. I don't feel that would be a big enough impact in the game to make someone want to pick this operator over one of those top pick operators. And for that reason, I don't think anyone would really want to pick this. On the flip side of this, it could make some of the operators way too powerful. The 2 that really jump to mind for me are Mute and Jaeger. Now, you might be going, Mute, why would he be really overpowered? Now, the main reason I feel Mute would be super overpowered would because the way that you're sort of doubling the effectiveness of each of these gadgets is the way you'd sort of work it with Mute's gadget is it would increase the range twofold, which would mean that Twitch's drone would no longer be able to shoot out Mute's jammers. At the moment, right on the edge of a Mute jammer is where Twitch's drone can shoot it out from. If you're doubling that range, she wouldn't be able to necessarily go up the stairs or be able to get around the doorway before the Mute jammer jams her drone, and she wouldn't be able to take it out. The other possible negative is I'm not quite sure the exact range or the detonation blast radius of the EMP grenade. You might be able to put a Mute jammer so far back from the wall that it would still affect the wall, but an EMP grenade wouldn't be able to destroy it. So you'd be able to sit it so far back that you'd never be able to destroy these charges without getting into the room and actually shooting the charges out yourself. And as for Jaeger, being able to shoot out 4 separate separate projectiles, I think would be too powerful. Most operators, if they're not using lethal grenades, have 3 of them, which works well in the current iteration of it. You can take 2 of them will take out a Jaeger device, and your 3rd one will then help your egress into the room. Admittedly, you could look at this going, well, this will be a great counter to someone like Fuse. Fuse is so powerful at the moment. Being able to shoot out 4 of his charges with 1 Jaeger device would be great. Yes, that would be good, but I think the interaction with every other operator would be way too powerful, and it would just be too impactful and make too much of a difference. Like, it would completely take out, if you could run a buck and a sledge and 1 Jaeger device could take out both of their frag grenades, and I think that would just be too much. So all that said, I really do like this operator. I think it's very novel. However, I don't think many people would pick it, purely for the fact it has a negative impact on the operator that you're buffing, and partly you're passing up one of the main gadgets in the game that are so impactful, and the reason they're picked all the time is because they are that powerful. And because of the fact that it could make some operators way too powerful, I can't see Ubisoft implementing something like this into the game. I think it's more likely for them to go through and possibly buff characters like Castle because he's a little bit less played and people don't like him so much and feel he's a little bit weaker. Whether that's giving his barricader like a thermal coating so Glaz's thermal scope can't see through it, increasing the health so it does take the 2 charges to destroy it, or making it so Fuse's ability cannot be used on a Castle barricade. Anyway, these are just my thoughts and opinions on it, and I could very much be in the minority, and most of you are like, no, this would be a brilliant idea. Put that in the game. If so, do let Red know, and I'm sure he would be very appreciative of that. Thank you very much for sharing that idea with me, and I hope I didn't offend you by saying what I did about it. Now moving over to my operator ideas. I haven't got to the extent of thinking a name, what weapons they'd have, or any lore. I just thought of a gadget and thought, well, that's quite a cool or novel idea, and I haven't seen it suggested before, and I kind of wanted to share it with you guys and see what your opinions are, whether you think I'm talking absolute baloney and it would be a useless operator, or you think, actually, that could be quite useful. Maybe Ubisoft should implement something like that into the game. So starting out with my first operator idea, which is an operator who has access to ballistic matting, whether that's that he wants to put it on the objective floor so he can't be shot from beneath, one of those 2 words, or a culmination of the 2, which I somehow sort of managed to attribute there, or whether it's to put it on the roof above so people can't shoot down from above. This would be a direct counter to someone like Buck, who's able to just walk onto a floor above or below and just shoot out all the flooring with his skeleton key. Sledge's hammer would also not be able to break it, and an added caveat, Fuse's charges would not be able to be placed on this, meaning that certain areas of objectives would be a little bit more defendable and you can actually sit on the objectives. One that really jumps to mind for me is on Bank in the archives area. If Buck gets up into the CEO's office, he's able to just shoot out all the flooring, and you can't really sit on the objective very easily without being shot from above. And this makes it very difficult to defend. Having an operator like this would be able to stop Buck being able to destroy all the flooring and Fuse just being able to fuse every section of it. And it could be really helpful to have more people sat on the objective helping to defend the area a bit more heavily than we occasionally do already. Now, this matting wouldn't be indestructible and would be able to be destroyed by certain breaching charges. I don't know whether 1 would be too weak for it, and I mean, so Fuse can equip breaching charges, so he could just breach that area, then put his charge on top of it. I don't quite know exactly how the interaction would work with it. I'd really be interested to know what your guys' opinions on it are. Or do you think it would be way too weak if a breaching charge could be used, and it would need to be something like a thermite or a banner be able to put their charge onto it to be able to destroy it? I'd be really interested to know what your guys' opinion on this are. Do you think this operator would be useful, or do you think it would just be a waste of time and no one would really pick this? If you can leave me a comment letting me know what your thoughts on this are, that would be awesome. Thank you very much. Now, moving swiftly on to the next operator idea, and this operator has the ability to reinforce roof hatches. Now, you may be saying to yourself, well, this seems completely pointless. I can just walk to the floor above and stick a reinforcement on the hatch and it's reinforced. What more? Why would I need an operator specifically to be able to do this from underneath? The main idea of this is to try and help with objectives where you have full-out roof hatches and you can't get above them to reinforce them. Now, one great example of this is on Clubhouse in the bedroom area. Both the gym and the office area have 2 hatches that you can't reinforce, and someone as simple as Jackal's sidearm shotgun can come along and shoot it out, and then you have complete control of those areas, and it's very difficult to defend the bedroom area. There's not really enough places for everyone to sit in that. You're going to have to roam, and it's very difficult to defend. So having an operator that'll be able to reinforce these 2 hatches would make it a little bit harder for the offensive team to get control over these areas and possibly make it a bit easier to defend. Now, you may be saying, well, that doesn't really slow people down very much. Habana and Thermite are pretty much top pick operators anyway. You just use one of these and break these hatches as it is. And that is true. On a lot of objectives, if there are hatches, you can just have a Habana who can shoot her charges from outside the window and break the hatch before you even enter the room, and it's very, very powerful. So to help counter this technique, this operator's hatches would also have a jammer of sorts attached to the bottom of them, meaning that they would jam one of these charges. You would obviously be able to destroy it by shooting it from the underneath, using a Twitch drone to shoot out the jammer, or being able to throw an EMP on top and breaking the jammer. But it does mean you have to work in coordination with your team just to have impunity or control over all of these hatches as well. And before I forget, I just want to say this operator would have access to 2 of these hatches and 1 raw reinforcement to balance them out a little bit. You don't want to reinforce everything, but obviously you're not going to pick this operator on every objective. It's only going to be on certain objectives that this guy would be impactful. But anyway, guys, I'd be really interested to know what you guys think of these 2 operator ideas. Do you think they'd be good? Do you think they'd be useless? I'd love if you could let me know in the comment section below. Also, if you have any operator ideas of your own, please share them and I will discuss them in the next video. Thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you next time. Goodbye for now.